All right, it looks like we are live. Hopefully, see if anyone is tuning in to watch. All right. Hey guys, Thomas Westbrook here, coming at you live from the Holy Koolaid Studios, aka the basement of an Airbnb, which is why I'm kind of talking a little bit quietly because I don't want to wake anyone up who's upstairs. Um, Says 0 people are watching, but oh, awesome. I've got someone. Okay, I'm just going to dive right in because I don't want to waste any of your time, and I know people are going to watch this after the fact. But I've been trying to put together some different atheist resources for you guys, and hopefully these will be things that will come in handy if you have your own YouTube channel, your own podcast, you want to learn a little bit about social media marketing. I have some tips and tricks and things that might be helpful. I also have some upcoming announcements and things that you might be interested in. The first thing is I made this page here on the Holy Koolaid website called Atheist Conferences, and it's basically in my blog post. It's right there up at the top, or you can go to blog and find it. It's listed. And I've compiled a list of atheist conferences and conferences promoting scientific skepticism. There's a bunch. These are just ones in the States. If you really want me to, let me know in the comments below, and I can try to find some different international conferences as well. But I have them sorted by date. The green ones are the ones I'm definitely going to. So I'm going to the one in St. Louis in July, Gateway to Reason. I'm going to Imagine No Religion. I would love to go to as many of them as I can. Some of them are just not feasible because they're on the opposite side of the country and some fall at the same time. The blue ones are ones that I want to go to. I'm very interested in going to. I just don't know 100% for sure yet. And then the ones from September onwards, I just don't know that far out on my schedule. But yeah, these are upcoming conferences. There's websites next to all of them. You can go find out more information. If you're in the area, come out. I'd love to meet you. And it's just a great way if you feel like you're alone, you feel like you're the only non-religious person that is in your area, I guarantee you that you're not. And this is a great way to go out and meet new people. Another thing is on my YouTube channel itself, if you navigate to the home or the main section, Holy Koolaid, youtube.com/Holy Koolaid, I have on the list, on the side here, this list of recommended channels. And if you click See All, these are basically different channels that I've found really useful throughout my developmental process. So these are things like science-based educational channels like Minute Earth, Crash Course, Vsauce. Some of them are just fun. Some of them are more about politics. There's some different atheist channels in here that talk about philosophy and religion. There is just a whole treasure trove of some of them are fun. Like this is just a girl who makes shitty robots, and it's fun to watch. This guy just engineers interesting, fun stuff. Then there's channels about space and health and all kinds of stuff. But these are just some different top channels I've put together you might like. So yeah, there's that. This is if you're wanting to get into something along the lines of a YouTube channel, and maybe you're wanting to find ways to share your content, but you don't have a whole lot of time to manually go through and just if you're not wanting to post to you post something to YouTube, then you don't want to manually post it also to Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and everywhere else. This tool is amazing. It really helps to automate a lot of stuff. So I've got a bunch of applets here that will have things like if you post to Instagram and you use a specific hashtag, atheist memes, then it also pins it to a specific Pinterest board. Or there's so much you can do with automation. It's called IFTTT, or if this then that. I created a whole mind map that's kind of like it's a bit of a mess, but basically like here the red is like this is a manual action that I take where I upload an Instagram pic and it automatically cross posts to Flickr, Instagram, Facebook, a bunch of different places. And the same you can do with like YouTube or a new WordPress post. You can have the basically anything on your WordPress side. WordPress is nice because it automatically has a like when you upload to WordPress, it automatically creates an RSS feed. So this is able to look at the RSS feed and automatically cross-post that out. This website's called Mindmup. You can create a free basic mind map, and I think it lets you keep it up for like 60 days or 90 days without having to subscribe to their premium service, but it's really helpful just for getting a basic idea of your flow. This right here is a flyer that I've created. Now, what I've been doing with my channel, I don't know if you've noticed, but I'm basically all over the place on social media. So if you go to my About section, I've got Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, Google+, Twitter, Patreon, Pinterest, Tumblr, my own website, and it's all linked together. There's a whole lot going on that I'm trying to promote, and it takes a lot of testing to see what's the most effective. So there's a rule, I'm not sure if you're familiar with the 80-20 rule, but it essentially is what you spend. Let's say you spend 20% of your time on something that yields 80% of the results. So then you could spend the rest of the 80% of your time just going through and doing all kinds of stuff that's not really helping you out a lot. And so I've been trying to test out what works and what doesn't on social media so that I can maybe help you guys out, especially other secular activists who are just getting into this and don't know what you should be where you should be spending the majority of your time. And I'm hoping to put together a course on all this to help you guys. But I have one thing that I've been doing is I haven't seen anyone else do this, but I created a flyer, and it's basically, don't believe in gods, you're not alone. And then I have a QR code, my website, and a couple social media links. And then if anybody wants to share this, I have over on my site, you can print out that flyer, links to the Google Drive where this is hosted, and so it's a publicly accessible document, and then you can post it all over your campus. You can post it anywhere that you want, or if you're not able to get out, but you have a couple extra bucks, you can hire people on Fiverr. So you can jump over to that one's, I guess, not working, but I compiled a list of a ton of different people on Fiverr that, or I guess you can, yeah, you just have to click through to redirect. But on Fiverr, there's people who will post stuff all over, and some of them have reviews. Some people say that they have good experiences. Check with them, make sure that they'll actually post pictures to prove that they've posted it. But you can pay like $5 and have somebody post 50 flyers on their campus. So it's a really easy way to outsource. And actually, if and I'm not sure how well this is going to work. So this is just something I'm experimenting with. But it's a whole new way to share stuff, kind of crossing between social media and the real world. But it's if you go in, I actually have in the video description of this live video, I have an affiliate link to Fiverr where I think you get like your first gig is free. So you could go in and get a free $5 gig and try this out. And I love Fiverr. It's sometimes I've had kind of crappy experiences. Sometimes like this girl right here, I hired to do to write out the transcripts. So the video that I made where Christopher Hitchens is debunking Dennis Prager, I actually hired her to go and type out everything that Hitchens and Prager were saying, and she created a transcript for me that then I was able to upload to both to my website. So if I go over to blog, then I have all my transcripts typed out. So if you go to check this out, she typed out, and and I have the full transcript that you can read here, and I also uploaded it as closed captions for my video, which helps my videos to rank within Google, because then Google is able to parse through that easier and know more what the video is about. And it also allows people to read who are maybe hearing impaired, so it helps them. As far as whether or not people who are sharing your flyers, whether or not they click on this, it's really hard to track just with your website right there. But this QR code, actually, you can generate QR codes and have them link to a specific URL. And a great way to track that is if you have that QR code generated to a bit.ly link, then you can track all of that through bit.ly. And this, this shows me that 2 people have scanned the QR code. So I don't know if anyone is really printed. I think one person said that they had distributed these flyers, but most people are going to go directly to these links or to this website. Most people don't use the QR code. But if someone does, then it shows here, 2 clicks, 2 people have navigated specifically to that bit.ly link. So that's kind of a cool way to track. You can track a lot of stuff through bit.ly. It shortens a link and it tells you how many people have clicked on it and gives you some stats on that. So those are some really useful tools that I've found. A lot of times people ask me what I use to animate my videos. I have a tool called Go Animate. The thumbnail for this video I actually made in Go Animate. And it's really easy to just drag stuff around, resize things, and you can also have it as built-in animations. So you can have all different kinds of actions that you want this guy to do, and it animates him. You can resize, and you can swap out characters and stuff, and you can make custom characters. You can over here's custom characters, and I believe we have down here Dinkleberry. So yeah, there's Dinkleberry is bidding on something. And then you can, there's a timeline down here, you can do stuff. Now, because this is all in the browser, it's a little bit slow. And so it's not the easiest tool necessarily to use for speed. But a lot of times what I'll do is I kind of, it's a bit of a hack, but I'll take a particular prop that I have. For example, I might have, I don't know, let's say that, is there a sword? Let me see, I think there's a sword. So I had in one of my videos, I had this spinning sword off to the left. So what I'll do is I'll take the background and I'll just make it a really bright green. Now this is something you'll see a lot of times in Hollywood, is they'll green screen or chroma key out the background. So I'll take something like this prop, this sword, and I'll just put it on a green background. And then I'll export this video over into Adobe Premiere, which is a much more robust professional video editing tool. And then I can just chroma key out the background, the green screen, and be left over with a prop that I can animate around. And it's completely royalty free. The one downside for this software is that you do have to pay a certain amount per month to use it. There's a free version that has a watermark, or you can try, there's a free trial, and I actually have in the description to this video, I have an affiliate link for a free trial. So if you want to go test it out and you go through that affiliate link, you get a free trial, and then if you sign up, I get a little bit of commission off of that. So if you want to support my channel, that's cool. Now, I've had a couple of different people on YouTube who are I've either stumbled across their channels, or they've asked me to kind of give shout outs and stuff. And yeah, I know I have a lot of tabs. I'm going through them one by one. But Homeless Pizza, your name cracks me up. But I'm kind of reading through the chat a little bit as I go. But hey guys, thank you so much for joining. Hopefully this stuff is useful. If there's any questions that you have along the way, let me know, and I'll try to respond to them. But yeah, so over here, I guess I can close out some of these. I have some different YouTubers. I kind of want to show you, take a look at their channel and maybe analyze it a little bit, show you some things maybe that they're doing right, some things that they're doing wrong, some stuff that they could improve, and hopefully that'll help you guys with your YouTube channels. The first one here is a channel called Godless Cranium. I love how his profile image blends seamlessly in with his banner. That's very nice. The one thing that's a little bit that I'm not a big fan of is that this is really hard to read, his website, and he doesn't have his website in with his social links right here. And if I jump over to the About section, there's no website there, and so that's a little frustrating. But I will say he's doing a lot right with. He's got the branding in the corner. That's awesome. His videos are very much within a specific topic, a specific niche. He, mostly sticks with atheism, talking about different stuff. I think there may be some videos about, there's a couple of these channels that dive into kind of the more anti-PC SJW side, but yeah, there's a lot that he's doing right. His titles are catchy. The one thing that I've noticed a lot of these channels don't do is they kind of slack on the playlist a little bit, and Playlists, when you create a playlist, it tells YouTube that you're creating new content. YouTube sees playlists as new content. So the more you're putting out regular content and regular playlists that people are clicking on, it's keeping people within YouTube. It's keeping people engaged. It's keeping people watching, and then that means that they're watching more ads. Then YouTube is going to want to promote your channel because your channel it's has more watch time, more watch duration. Now, I have a plugin built in here called Video IQ that lets me see channel tags. It shows revenue that's not really accurate, I've found, and the same with Social Blade. Almost always the revenue is way off. But I do like that it shows channel tags. One thing this channel can do is add more channel tags. Um, Another one, there's Zoe Does Life, and this is a British YouTuber and atheist. Again, she touches on a lot of the SJW stuff. That's not really my angle, but she also has some good stuff about atheism as well. Um, I love how she has very clear cutout, like the white around her, kind of makes her stand out and pop. It kind of She has her little avatar there, so when you see a video, it's pretty obvious that it's hers. Um, the one thing that I'll say that she's nailing a lot. Like her banner looks nice. I would probably swap up the font between the name and the new videos every week. Just that's a typography thing. I'm kind of nitpicking, but normally you want to have serif and sans serif if you or kind of have a little bit of contrast between the two. Her channel tags are good. This is one thing that I've noticed a lot of people do wrong, and that's when you create tags for your videos. The tags for YouTube are very different from the tags for Twitter and Facebook and anything else. When you create a tag for Twitter, you're basically saying, like, okay, anyone who wants to follow this discussion, we're going to have this weird gobbledygook tag that's like a bunch of words smashed together, but you click on it and it shows you everything related to that tag. YouTube tags don't work like that. When YouTube is trying to figure out whether or not to rank your video and what your video is about and how many um, similar videos there are, and just when they're trying to analyze it, if you have a tag that's like openly secular, all one word, that's not going to do anything for YouTube. That's not going to help your video rank. So so what if you're ranking number one for you know the tag, you know, good without God or something like that. If no one is searching up in the search bar, good without God, all one word, you're like that's useless. So always, include spaces in that, and I've noticed a bunch of channels. Let me see. Let me click on, okay, criticizing Islam. So on this video, I'm going to drop down the channel tags. That's another cool thing about vidIQ is it lets you see that. So she has, a couple of different tags here. I would flush that out. Fill up your tag section. No, this is channel tags. So I guess she's doing good on channel tags. Let me see video tags. So she's ranking number 17 for criticizing Islam. Um, she's got some different stuff in there. Uh, if your video talks about Christopher Hitchens, include Christopher Hitchens. If it doesn't, don't throw that in there because it's not going to help your ranking. It's YouTube's going to go through and it's going to see, oh, do people after they watch this video, do they click on a video about Christopher Hitchens? Does it mention Christopher Hitchens? In your closed captions, do you have parts where you're talking about Christopher Hitchens? Do you have anything in your channel description about that? If that's completely unrelated, don't put that in your video tags. Just talk about the content that your video is about. That's what your tag should mirror. And you can go through, there's a great resource called TubeBuddy that helps you to have better tags. But yeah, that's just a little bit of information. Um, Here's another channel, Secular TJ. He has, his thumbnails are good. Um, Again, he's got the banner. He only has Twitter and Google Plus listed here. I would definitely try to at least have a website, because it used to be back in the day that you could just create a YouTube video and you would shoot that off to somewhere like Facebook, and it would, it had the possibility of going viral. And then Facebook released their Facebook video service. And as soon as that happened, then Facebook started cutting way back on the amount of exposure that they gave to YouTube. So anything that pushes or that sends content away from Facebook to YouTube, Facebook is going to want to cut, like they're going to want to limit that. So I've noticed, if I post just a text post on Facebook, and I say, like, oh man, hemorrhoids are the worst, I might get 200 likes on that one stupid post. But if I share a YouTube video about hemorrhoids, again, just random example, that video might get 2 likes. It might get 5 views. You know, Facebook is trying to promote their own video service. They don't want to send people to YouTube anymore. It's taking people off of Facebook's platform. So there's still other social media platforms out there. There's new and emerging ones. Secular Nest just came out, which is specifically for non-believers. Um, there's one called Minds, which is kind of cool because the more that you use it, the more you almost have kind of this inbuilt currency that you acquire that you can use to promote your own posts. There's several others, but one trick that I've started doing is on my channel, I will, or on my website, I will oftentimes take something like, um, I'll create, like I showed you before, I'll create the transcript and I'll embed the YouTube video within that Holy Koolaid page. So let me give you an example. Um, so I have over here, um, actually, I lied. Um, okay, so on my website, this is weird because I don't have somebody managing what's on my screen, but so I have this incredibly clickbaity video that I made about Nostradamus and Kim Kardashian, and I have embedded on my website, I have this video here, which links to YouTube. Now, I also have the full transcript. I also have, some different things, like here's all the end times prophecies listed. This is embedded from a Google Docs spreadsheet, or a Google Drive spreadsheet. And, I've got some recommended books and stuff. Now, if I were to share this website on Facebook, it's still not going to get as many clicks as something that keeps people on Facebook's website, but it gets a lot more than YouTube. It's not punished quite as heavily as YouTube. And so if, I've started doing that where I'll share that. I also might create on Instagram, I'll create a picture of my thumbnail, and I'll make it a square version of the thumbnail. And then I'll post that to Instagram, and it cross posts with a link out to YouTube, and it gets a little bit more traffic that way. But there's so many different things that you can do that that kind of help to promote your content in smart ways. You test it out, you see what works, what doesn't. But yeah, Facebook isn't very helpful for YouTubers. But this way, people come to your site, you can build an email list, you can have all your content there, you can have all your resources. I've got my Atheist Conferences there. I've got some other stuff. I'm actually in the process of creating some different things. What would you guys like to see? Real quick, let's hear kind of. I'm gonna look at the feedback from my in my live chat. Would you guys like to see um, if I create a page that has either a whole list of like atheist bands and atheist like music, some different secular music that you can listen to? Would you like that? Would you like me to give you a whole list of different famous atheists and celebrities, people in various fields? Like I acquired this, or I compiled this list of different bloggers, YouTubers, authors, scientists. I could create that, and then that would help activists knowing like who they should connect with and reach out to. Um, I'm thinking. I'm also in the process of creating a couple of courses for you guys to watch. that will help you, this type of stuff, like how do you promote your content through social media. But yeah, if there's any kind of resource that you would like me to put up, anything that you would like to learn about, different playlists about scientific content, um, anything that you'd like. Right now, one of the things that I'm doing with the Holy Koolaid Fear series is I want to have basically every single type of paranormal claim that people are terrified of. I want to have a video response explaining what's going on scientifically, and then you can share that around. And you can give that to people who say, oh, I saw a ghost, here's my story. You can be like, well, here's the science behind it. You might not be well versed in it yourself, but if there's just a really simple explanation, and that's what Holy Kool-Aid was supposed to be from the very get-go, was just a series of resources that you could use anytime that you didn't necessarily have the answers to a question in a really concise, fun to watch, easy animated way. Then you just have hundreds of videos that you can share. Do I have merchandise? Not yet. I'm in the process of setting up. What type of merchandise would you guys like to see? Would you like to see t-shirts, mugs, refrigerator magnets, bumper stickers, Holy Kool-Aid goblets, Dingleberry plush toys? Seeing live chat. Hello, everybody. I think I actually do have possibly a little bit of lag, so I'll wait and I'll see what responses come flowing in. But in the meantime, know the Earth is not flat. And if it is, go jump off of it. I'm sorry, that was rude, but I have little tolerance for flat earthers. Okay. Holy Kool-Aid goblet would be awesome. Nice. Godless Cranium. You missed it, Godless Cranium. I just promoted your channel. Back to shoutouts. I'm going to look at a couple of other YouTubers. So, yeah, I was just looking at Secular TJ. If you can build a website, websites are awesome. They're a great way to promote your content. If I jump over to your videos, you have a lot of good stuff here on atheism and stuff. And so if I click on one of your videos, the one thing that I noticed, I think I was looking at earlier, maybe not with this one. I mean, again, a lot of it comes down to tags. You don't want your tags to be the same with every single video. You want it to be very specific to the content that's in that actual video. One strategy that some people take, like here's this guy, Sticks and Hammer 666. He puts out literally, this guy throws out like a video every couple hours, and he just anything that he wants to rant about. And his channel has exploded. He's at 122,000. I wouldn't recommend doing that unless you're pretty well educated on topics. Like you can tell by watching this guy's videos that he's read a lot, and he has a lot of background knowledge on a lot of different areas. And I don't think he just flips on the camera and starts talking. I'm pretty sure that he researches the stuff that he talks about beforehand. But yeah, I've seen this stuff all over. The one thing, he's not maximizing his channel tags. He could really put out a whole lot more there. His description, I mean, I guess that's kind of catchy. He doesn't have a website. He doesn't have a Twitter listed. You definitely want to have Twitter. If you're not on Twitter, it's really hard for other people to reach out to you and to communicate with you and to, to do collaborations and stuff like that. Because just going through YouTube and the YouTube messaging system and stuff is kind of crap, and YouTube comments are overwhelming. I get hundreds and thousands of YouTube comments. I just can't keep up with all of them. Twitter makes it so much easier. Another thing is, yeah, with your tags, use Longtail Keywords. That means don't just put in like atheist. Put in something like positive atheism, or um, how to come out as an atheist. If you have that, then every time someone searches specifically for that term in YouTube, you're more likely to rank for it. And people are more likely to search for that than they are, just for the word atheist. And it has much higher competition. But again, you can use tools like TubeBuddy that'll help you find the best tags to rank for. Here's another channel, Hi, I Think I'm Real. I love how he has his video schedule up here. I wish it wasn't all the same font, because stuff doesn't pop and stand out, and it's kind of harder to read when it's like that. Um, the color scheme is, I mean, I guess that's okay. It's but not probably not what I would do. Again, links, I'd throw in some extra social media stuff. A website would be awesome. He only has a few channel tags. I would put more in there. I will say that I've seen some of this guy's videos, and his voice is very, very like, he should be doing a podcast along with this. Let me see. So he had, again, there's a lot of these channels, and a lot of the stuff I've seen with YouTube goes very heavy into like anti-PC, SJW, anti-feminist, stuff like that, and that's not really my angle. But a lot of times it overlaps with atheism, and if I see stuff that's talking about Islam or talking about um, atheism, then I'm more likely to promote it. Like Professor Stick, he is, I think, a fairly new YouTuber. Channel tags, again, just Professor Stick. I would flesh that out a lot more. Um, did humans and dinosaurs coexist? Um, Again, fill out your video tags, your video description. You know, that's one thing that helps you rank in YouTube. And when you rank in YouTube, that means that you're showing up in, you might show up either on the front page or over here on the up next. It helps YouTube to know if your video is similar to another video, and that's where a lot of your organic traffic is going to come from. Um, Let me see. I do like the branding on the side, though. That instantly tells you, that this is one of his videos. One thing a lot of people don't do, and this is something that I've noticed, is they don't make a lot of playlists. So, here he has 4 playlists. If you have that many videos, you should be making more, and you should have playlists that are a part of an actual series. So if I jump over here, you'll notice on this video about fear, this is in my Sapient Saturdays playlist, and on the right side over here, there's um, immediately it says up next autoplay. The reason that this video shows up, that it has a very, very high likelihood of showing up there when you have your video set as part of the default playlist. So if I jump over here to Holy Koolaid and I jump to playlists, there is this one, Sapient Saturdays. And you'll notice in my playlist settings, there's set as official series playlist. If you do that, you can only put a video in one official series playlist. It can be in a bunch of other playlists, but only in one that's the official series. And then as people are watching through these videos, then it's going to be much more likely to be like, oh, it's part of this series. We should recommend that it jumps to this one next, and then this one next. And when you share your videos across social media, try to share playlists rather than just the videos. So, if I jump in here, there's it's in a playlist, so it's automatically going to play to the next, to the next, to the next. So then if I were to grab either the link up top or, share and embed, then and embed that link on a website, then that's sharing the entire playlist. So when somebody clicks on it, they're not just watching that video, they're watching the next one, they're watching the next one, until they lose focus. But you're going to get more watch time, and YouTube is going to reward your videos because they're being watched more. They're going to want to promote your videos more, because that means more watch time means more of your more ads that people are watching, which means more revenue for YouTube and more revenue for you. Here's a channel. I just wanted to give this guy a shout out real quick. He's been going through and interviewing different people. He's from, I believe, somewhere in the Middle East or somewhere in the Muslim world. And I love how his channel kind of overlaps between English and Arabic, so he's appealing to a big audience. But he's been interviewing people like um, he had Aaron Raw on, he had Logic on, he interviewed me 3 weeks ago, and yeah, he's had some different people. Cosmic Skeptic was on, Hith was on, and yeah, if you get a chance, go check that out. Watch my interview. I did a thing. And then the last channel that I want to promote is a guy named Rationality Rules. He is nailing it on every front. His videos are incredibly entertaining. Um, I wish that he had links to his social media, but when you watch his videos, he had a while back his channel got deleted and he lost something like 5,000 subscribers, and I can't even imagine how incredibly frustrating that would be. Like that would just devastate me if my whole channel just wiped out after all that effort and all that work. So go give him a watch, check that stuff out, or check out his videos, subscribe to his channel. I guarantee you, if you like my content, that you'll love his stuff. Very, very good. He goes through and he debunks a lot of people like Reza Aslan. He, just a lot of good stuff. And yeah. So yeah, that just about wraps it up for now. Hopefully, that's been some different useful resources to you. Um, I'm sorry I haven't had my video on fear this week out. Um, a lot of business stuff, a lot of conferences that I've been running around doing, but um, there is one thing that I got. I made it all the way to Wyoming where my business is registered, and I got my business bank account set up. So for people who've been wanting to donate either through PayPal, Bitcoin, Venmo, or sending checks and stuff, I can now receive those. Also, if you want to just send me a letter in the mail, I don't know if people still do letters, but this address is a service that I use called Traveling Mailbox. So that's really useful if you're maybe you're working remotely and you want to have a business address, you want to be able to receive mail. Traveling Mailbox, there's another one called Earth Class Mail I use, but it's more expensive, and Traveling Mailbox is much more affordable, does exactly the same thing. And you get letters in the mail, it scans them and emails them to you, and then you can tell it whether you want to shred them, keep a digital copy, delete it, or have them forward it to your actual mailing address. So especially if for those of you who, if you're not able to use your real name like me and you want to have a mailing address that's not your home address, or you're a nomad like I am and you're traveling all over the place, that's an incredibly useful tool. It's better than a PO box because it's an actual address. You can also, if you're setting up a business, you can use registered agents. Um, Wyoming is probably the best state for LLCs. If you're doing a corporation, Delaware's good. If you have questions about business, I mean, I can set up resources for you guys on that too. But I know this has been kind of a long video. Hopefully, all this stuff's been useful for those of you who have questions, who want to. I'll stay on for a couple more minutes and just watch the live chat. If you have any specific questions about stuff I've talked about, let me know. I will try to answer them. Um, I see one, is my morality founded on social conditioning, or is our morality founded on social conditioning or our reflective nature? I'm not sure what you mean by reflective nature. I think that there's an element of genetics, and there's also definitely an element of there's a social construct to it. But check out the collaboration I did with Cosmic Skeptic on morality. It really dives deep into that stuff. Let me see any other. Let me. Boom! Hey, you can actually just see me now. Um, let's see. My channel is about networking. This is a Steve McRae, YouTubers and experts in science. See my playlist if you want to check it out. Yeah, a lot of YouTubers don't necessarily make new videos, but they'll make playlists and they'll have a bunch of videos kind of in like compilations of videos. That's also a great way to aggregate stuff, to have content that maybe, I have a playlist that's just, the best atheist videos. And I just put, whenever I like an atheist video, I just throw it in that playlist so that someone can come along and watch all of that, and it keeps it organized. I'd love to hear your thoughts on presuppositional apologetics. See, a lot of this, a lot of this stuff I would have to, I'd have to really dive into, and it's kind of hard to do in an off-the-cuff live video, especially to keep it precise. Right now, I kind of want to stick to questions about social media marketing or video editing, how to make, improve your content, how to improve your channels, your videos, how to share it, what works, what doesn't. Yeah, and for people who are just now tuning in, this is kind of towards the end of it. Basically, this whole stream, I'm going to have it up on my channel, and it's just a bunch of useful tips and resources for you guys who are just getting started as atheist activists or secular activists or science advocates, and you're not sure where to start and how to have a quality channel. Water. Somebody refuted, Steve McRae refuted Matt Slick a week ago. Cool. Let me scroll up. It looks like we've got a lot of people in the chat. You guys are awesome. Thank you for tuning in and watching this. Sorry that like early on in the video I couldn't. Oh, Tom Leeds. I actually met him at ReasonCon. He has a cool YouTube channel too. Check out Tom Leeds. Yeah, it was for everyone that I got to meet at ReasonCon. You guys were awesome. I had a blast. I got to meet the entire cast from Scathing Atheist, Noah, Heath, and Eli. I got to meet the Cognitive Dissonance people, Tom and Cecil. I met Thomas Smith. What's his name? Andrew Torres from the Be Reasonable podcast, I believe. What type of mic do I use? Okay, that's actually right now a bad question. Back when I worked in IT, I was down at Texas A&M, and I had a studio mic. I forget what kind it was. Like it was an AT something. It was an Audio Technica condenser microphone, and not super expensive, around $100. But it had a really nice sound, but condenser microphones tend to pick up everything around them. And so for me, it was useful because I was in a really, really quiet area. Blue Yetis are good too if you have somewhat of your own studio, or you can go into a closet or a car and drive somewhere quiet and and kind of pad it around so you're not getting a lot of echo. Then you can have, yeah, condenser mics work okay. While I'm traveling, I don't have a lot of space in my bag, so I've been relying on one is a video mic me, which I plug into the bottom of my smartphone here, and it's a oh, hey, Professor Stick. Basically, it's a shotgun microphone that you plug into the headphone jack on the bottom of a Samsung Galaxy S7, and it's directional, and that microphone works okay, but it kind of went out on me. It stopped working. The um, the other mic I'm using is attached to a Zoom H1, which is a recorder, and then I have a lav mic that I plug in, that I just hook on as a lapel. The problem with both of those is that they're not very good when it comes to canceling out noise, and it's really hard for me to find quiet places to record, which is actually why my video on fear this week isn't going out today, but will be going out next week, because I'm still trying to be able to find a quiet place to record. And if I don't have a quiet place to record, I wind up spending hours in post-production editing out all kinds of stuff. And I bought a mic that is much more directional and noise canceling. I forget the exact, it's an Audio Technica dynamic microphone. But it's down in Texas, and I'm not going back to Texas for about a month. It kind of came in a bit late, so I'm stuck with what I've got for now. I did pick up this $29 Logitech mic just so that I could do this and other interviews and stuff. Hopefully, does this sound okay, or does it sound horrible? I don't know. Um, but yeah, it's um, microphones are always there's no one perfect mic depending on what your setup is. If you have a quiet room to record in, get a condenser mic all the way, get a pop filter. Um, but there's a lot of tricks that you can use just to make a mic sound good. You know, if you're talking directly at it and you don't have any kind of windscreen on it, you're gonna get a lot of like, you know, you're gonna get that wind. Those plosives are gonna sound really harsh. If you have a mic that has, you know, bad sibilance, then your S's are going to sound like really squeaky and high, and it's going to hurt. But you can do things, you know, like if you have a horrible, just the built-in mic on my phone, I can get really close to and kind of off at a bit of an angle so it's not as plosive, and so it has, you know, just being close, proximity to a microphone increases sound quality immensely. And then you can go into post production and you can edit out a lot of noise. You can cancel out a lot of background noise if it's below around like 40 hertz or something. I think that's just outside the range of human um, uh, talking range, vocal range. And so you can kind of get rid of some of the hums and whirs and stuff below that level, as well as above. I think it's like 19,000 hertz or something, but no, 17,000, 19,000. This is actually kind of a weird rabbit trail, but I think around 19,000 is the range where most people past the age of about 20, that's the end of your hearing that starts to go first. And so I had pretty good hearing when I was working in an office. I was also the youngest one that worked there. So I would go and I would sit in conferences and I set my ringtone to something that was, I think, around 20,000 or 19,000 hertz. And it was just a really high pitched, um, just wee noise. And whenever my phone would go off in a meeting, I was the only one that could hear it. And so that was kind of cool. Um, what are my thoughts on psychedelics? Again, I'd have to make a whole video for that. I personally don't really partake in any kind of drugs, but that's just because I try to stay super focused and productive on work all the time. Um, but yeah. Um, yeah, so when it comes to equipment, mics and stuff, you can put out quality content with cheap equipment, but I mean, there's certain pieces of equipment that can, you know, just knowing what type of gear to get really helps to really helps your you know your your production process. So like right now, again, I'm traveling on the road a lot of times. Today I was trying to record and there was a plane flying overhead for about 3 hours, and it was just picking up constantly. And I had this one window to record my audio in, and there's this plane and there's cars driving by, and so it's, you know, having the ability to um, you know, just have a microphone that cuts a lot of that out. You know, you can get one that's under $100, but knowing whether or not to get a dynamic or a condenser microphone, even just that one choice can make all the difference in the world. It looks like I think I'm real is on. Man, we've got all the YouTubers. We got Professor Stick, Godless Cranium, Tom Leeds, Steve McRae. Looks like a lot of you guys make videos. Um, yeah, there's a lot of uh, emerging channels. Homeless Pizza, are you a channel or just a guy with a funny name? um, awesome. Well, I'm going to probably call this a night because I've rambled on long enough, but um, just wanted to offer you guys some useful resources, let you know that I'm here to help. You're always more than welcome to shoot me emails. I do stay really busy, but I try to answer as many of them as I can, and Twitter too. I'm on Twitter, so. Also, Greg's been a friend of mine for a long time. And Christopher Hammonds, he also has. You have a YouTube channel, right, Chris? I think so. Unless I'm mistaken. I don't know. Go click on Christopher Hammonds and see if he has a YouTube channel. But yeah, share the love, subscribe to people. If you like a channel, check it out. If you don't like it, it's not your cup of tea, well, that's fine too. But yeah. I hope this helped. Don't drink the Kool-Aid. Peace. Bye. Stuff. Brofist, whatever people are doing these days. And on that note,